Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Random Chatter. And I've got the wrong show logo down in the corner, but I've got the right thing up on the monitor over here, which is where Lou would normally be. Actually, Tim would normally be there. Lou would normally be here.
Yes.
We've got the Force Chatter logo in the corner. We're just a mess here, but that's okay. We're going to talk about the things that we've been watching, what you should maybe check out, what you should maybe avoid, and what we thought of them. Tim, how are you doing today?
Eric, I'm
Good.
doing well. I'm doing well. It was a good weekend, productive weekend. Hot.
Yes, very.
Up here. Today, thankfully, cooled down a little bit,
Not
but
good for us Northerners.
yeah, doing well.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we talk about what we've been watching recently? I figure it's just the two of us, so we'll just bounce some stuff back and forth here. But I know that you are a big fan of the Castlevania animated series on Netflix.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
They just had, what, season 4 come out recently? Is that right?
Yeah. Season 4 just dropped a few days ago. I binged it all today.
Wow, one day.
Today was the first time I actually had a chance to go through it, and just absolutely fantastic. Really, really impressed with it. And in total truth, the first 5 minutes of the first episode is like, that alone is worth the price of admission. Just absolutely hilarious. Really well written.
Hilarious. It doesn't seem like something that would strike me as a comedy.
They get the right amount of comedy in there very, very well. It's just that the writing is done so expertly that they're telling a good story. It is to be truthful, I think it's the best video game adaptation out there, hands down, period, of anything.
Wow.
Movies, TV shows, whatever. I think it is the best video game adaptation. Practically flawless.
Wow.
I mean, just really, really darn good story. I can't say enough about it. It's that good. So this is supposed to be the end. I don't want to say anything that's spoilery, so I'm going to avoid that. I don't think it's spoilery to say that, they left some opportunities.
Spinoff.
At the end of the show, but they closed things down. They wrapped everything up pretty well.
So they told a cohesive story that had a beginning and an end. But I'm inferring from what you're telling me that they left room for some sort of a spin-off series or some continuation of this world building. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. In some way, shape, or form, there are some opportunities there for them. So yeah, but just done really well. Just such a darn good story, and I'm actually really compelled to. It may end up being like a couple of rainy days with nothing else to do, or I may have to wait until, winter time or something to truly go through and watch all 4 seasons straight through, because it's like such a great story, really good characters, awesome development that they do. Great voice actors. You got, Richard Armitage.
Oh, yeah.
Who leads it, playing Belmont, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my big pick for this week is something that's kind of new, but also kind of not new. And it's also not a movie or a TV show. I normally don't get up on a soapbox about a video game, but I've not watched a lot over the last couple of weeks, and it's been a while since we've recorded. I know you guys did last week. For me, it's been like 3 weeks or something. And I've kind of lost track of some of the things I've watched, but most of the last week for me was spent, other than watching YouTube videos to try to understand cryptocurrency mining, playing Mass Effect. Is it Legacy or Legends? I need to go back and double check now before I put I probably need to edit the thumbnail I have. Nope, we're good on YouTube. I left whatever the L word is out. It's Legacy, it's Legends, it's legendary. Wait for it, legend, wait for it. Sorry.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Having flashbacks to How I Met Your Mother. So there
Can,
are.
can I break in and say one thing? My local ice cream shop on Instagram put up their hot fudge sundae, a picture of it, and it's impressive. It's always been impressive. My reply to their posting was that it is legendary. DAIRY. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Wow. I bet they appreciated that.
I'm sure they did.
So,
sure
video games. If you asked me my top 3 video game series of all time, I could rattle them off just like that. If you asked my top 10, wouldn't know what to tell you. I could give you my top 3, and then after that, everything else is so far down the list that they just don't matter. Mass Effect is one of those things in that top 3. Back when it was still actively going on, people were referring to the Mass Effect trilogy as kind of like the next Star Wars. And they were saying this because the world building and the storytelling is so good. It's epic on such an incredible scale. I mean, we're talking world building along the lines of not just Star Wars, but Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. Like it's just really immersive world building. And it's a cross between sometimes it's a first person shooter, well, over the shoulder shooter, I guess. And then other times it's a role playing game with stories and character interactions and it's incredible. So anyway, they re-released it as a single trilogy purchase. So you get all 3 games for the typical $60 you'd spend on a video game, but they remastered it, which is good because the first Mass Effect was really long in the tooth. The interface was not very good. The game mechanics were not very good. They made a lot of changes to make the game playable, a lot of quality of life fixes. And I really want to get to Mass Effect 2 because that's one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm trying to plow my way through Mass Effect 1. They did a really good job. It's actually not embarrassing now to tell people that they should go pick up the series and not have to apologize for the first game and say, it's okay, just get through the first game. But the second and third ones, it's so good. And
I've been hearing a lot of really positive reviews about it.
I've hardly seen any negative ones. And I think even the negative ones I have seen have been kind of clickbaity. It's been one of those, what? Somebody didn't like it? And they click on it to read it. I think it's clickbait. Like it's that good. It was that good the first time around. And with the improvements, it's just so much better. And it's one of those games where the decisions you make in the first game, and some of the games are morally difficult decisions to make, those decisions carry over into the second and third games. So it's just so much fun. I cannot recommend this highly enough. If you have a gaming PC, an Xbox or PlayStation, you gotta pick it up. So that's the main thing that I've been playing, and it is so worth it. I haven't played it in ages. It's one of the few games where I've played at least one of the games in the series through to completion more than once. There are very few games I can say I've done that with. And the Mass Effect trilogy is one of, well, I never finished the third one actually. So this will be my first time finishing the third, but wow, such a good job. Highly recommended. And you will like it's a time sink. It's worth it though. Yeah. But what else do you have on your list, Tim?
MODOK.
Oh, that came out. I forgot.
Yes, mental organism designed only for killing. This is the animated. It's meant to. It's the animation style that is meant to look like stop motion, but it's not stop motion. It's just legit digital animation. It's on Hulu. 10 episodes. They dropped all 10. I sampled the first episode.
Okay.
My time obviously was spent on Castlevania this weekend, my viewing time. I was cautiously optimistic about it. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's really good. Similar to Castlevania, not safe for work. It is not family
I was
friendly.
about to ask.
Do not watch either of these with little kids around. There are F-bombs. It goes beyond sexual innuendo.
Wow.
It is like if you were to amp up, like, you know, Archer or Family Guy, something like that. It's very much within that kind of ilk of
How does it
comedy.
compare to the Harley Quinn series on HBO Max?
Actually, I would say it's spot on to that. In terms of its
maturity level,
you know, NSFW.
Right.
Yeah, it's right on for that. It's really well done. It's cleverly written. It's I'm looking forward to running through the rest of the series. It's probably going to be a one-off. We're not going to see a season 2 with it or anything. It is non-canonical to the MCU,
right?
But it's a fun thing. I mean, I think it's a good showing for, you know, what Marvel can put out there, and I'd like to see them do. You know, obviously there's a huge history and huge catalog of Marvel animated stuff. I'd like to see some more contemporary animated stuff come from them. You know, if they can tie it into canon, that's great. But even if not, you know, something like this as a non-canonical offshoot is still a lot of fun. So
how long is it? How many episodes?
It's 10 episodes.
Half hour each?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, that's not bad.
So somewhere, you know, streaming half hour, whatever that ends up meaning, you know, 20 some minutes to 30 some minutes. Right. But yeah, it's worthwhile. Check it out on Hulu.
All right. What do I have up next on my list? Oh, so now I didn't finish it, but I am 2/3 to 75% of the way through Army of the Dead, which just came out on Netflix, I think Friday. It's a zombie apocalypse movie by Zack Snyder.
This is Zack Snyder. Yeah.
With Dave Bautista playing the lead. And it's a heist movie.
Okay.
In Vegas. In a zombie apocalypse.
That's an interesting combination.
It really is. And I kind of watched it because I thought, okay, so it's Zack Snyder, so at least it's going to be good production quality. And I like Dave Bautista. And I thought, okay, you know, sure, why not? Got some time to kill, which it turns out I actually didn't, but I thought I did. And, you know, how bad can it be? And even if it's bad, at least it'll be worth talking about on the show, right?
Sure.
As much as I don't like zombie stuff, this is pretty entertaining. It's the various characters at first it's a little hard really getting into the characters other than like the leads. But when the movie really starts, like the ball starts rolling, it kind of pulls you in and it's interesting. And so I don't know how it ends yet. I don't know how some of the different plot points get resolved. And there's one thing that came up that I'm really curious where they're going with it, because it's either going to be like mind blowing or it was just kind of a little throwaway sort of thing. And so I don't know. I may have a lot more to talk about with this next week, or I might just leave it at this. But as of right now, assuming it continues on the same trajectory that it's on right now, I like it. I would recommend it to people who like action movies. And obviously, if you like zombie movies, but even if you don't care for zombie movies that much, it's still okay.
Okay.
If you can't stand zombie movies, then, I mean, you're going to have to move along. But I'm not a big fan of them, and I thought it's good. It's worth watching. And it's got that, I want to say it's got that typical Zack Snyder production quality, but it doesn't get into a lot of the visual tropes that he's known for. You know, Tim Burton, you can watch a Tim Burton movie and you know it's Tim Burton. right? There's just a visual style and a directing style. Zack Snyder's pretty close to that, but other than the opening credit sequence and a couple of early on things, it doesn't feel quite as Zack Snyder-y as something like Justice League or The Watchmen or something like that. Like, it's close, but it doesn't have some of those iconic moments where it's like, oh yeah, okay, here's the quote Zack Snyder scene. Kind of like, you've got the Steven Spielberg close up on the person's face, and you've got the J.J. Abrams lens flares, but yeah, so it was good. I'd recommend it.
Cool. Okay. And that's having not even finished it.
Having not even finished it. Like, it would really have to tank at this point. If they bombed the ending, then I might have to retract what I say, but it's continued to get progressively better as opposed to just kind of resting on its laurels throughout the movie. So I'm optimistic.
Okay.
I'm optimistic enough to recommend it even having not finished it. Yeah.
Awesome.
So what else have you got?
That's fair. Let's see. The only other new thing for me is The Marksman. This just released on pay-per-view. This is a Liam Neeson film. It was fine. I'm good. The story was good.
Someone kidnapped?
Yeah, someone was kidnapped. And he had to rescue them in a very Liam Neeson fashion.
I've seen this one a few times.
I think we've seen this a number of times. Yeah, they've been called different things.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it was fine. I mean, I like Liam Neeson. So, for that, the movie was good. But yeah, I mean, he does kind of tend to play the same character in all these movies. So.
Okay.
That's that. That's and then beyond that, I just was cleaning in the house today and had Falcon and Winter Soldier on, got through the first few episodes again. One of those things that I didn't have to completely pay attention to, but of course, every once in a while when I knew like a certain scene was coming up, I would stop and watch that scene for a few minutes because there's just some really great stuff in there. So, just continuing to enjoy that.
So I do that a lot. I'll go back and watch, The Office or Firefly or Babylon 5 or something. This morning, I needed something on in the background that I could kind of pay attention to, or at least like I could listen to while I was doing other things. On Netflix, I put on a documentary about Notorious B.I.G. And I ended up actually sitting and watching most of it. Which was not what I intended to do. I was trying to be productive instead. And it was pretty good too. I didn't actually even intend to review it here. I mean, it's exactly what you would think it would be, but it was good. There was stuff there that I hadn't heard in other similar coverage before. So that was good. But based on your recommendation, I started watching, is it Shadow and Bone on Netflix?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's pretty good. It's I'm not at the level of fandom that a lot of other people who've reviewed it seem to be at. I'm not at that level, but I'm just a little bit below it. Like it's, I still need to finish it up.
Yeah, there's some people responding to it kind of like it's as if it were the next Game of Thrones, and it's not. It's good.
It really is.
It is really quite good. I like the story. I like the world build of it. But it's not like, phenomenal. But hey, to each their own.
It's not even the type of thing I would normally really enjoy that much, but I enjoy it. And I want to make that clear because I'm not sounding very enthusiastic about it right here, but I do enjoy it. I would recommend it. It definitely, without question, exceeded my expectations. I'm not like I said, I haven't finished it. So, but I'm still regularly watching it. So I'm not dying to get back to it. It's not that good, but it's solidly good. Like I feel like, oh, I have something I can watch right now. Whereas I normally feel like, oh, I got to find a new show. So, I'm glad you recommended it. and I would recommend it to other people as well. As someone who's not really into that genre much, this is solidly good. It's got good acting. It's got good writing. There are a couple, I think there's mainly like one of the story arcs that I'm just kind of apathetic toward. But for the most part, I enjoy the others, and even one that I didn't care that much for got better as the show progressed. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I watched the season finale for The Nevers on HBO Max. I was a little disappointed. There are only 6 episodes. The finale was awesome. It was, it completely throws you for a loop at the very beginning. It's kind of the, there's a common term that's used that I'm not allowed to say on the podcast, but they kind of screw with your mind a little bit, and I'll leave it at that. But you're watching the first few seconds of it, and you're either going to be like, I had no idea they were going to go in this direction, or you're going to say, I think I clicked the wrong button. I think this isn't, let me go back to the main menu here. Like, I actually had to hit the info button to make sure that I did watch the right show. It was that much of a departure from the rest of the season, and it brings it all back around, and you end up understanding exactly what's going on, and it makes me even more excited for the second season. But it was game changing as far as finales go, so I really enjoyed that. And I think that's about it. I finally started the new Thrawn novel. Watched Ex Machina again for our upcoming episode of Movie Chatter Tuesday night. And yesterday, that's right, I finally got around to watching It Part 2. And it was the best adaptation that I've seen. In fact, it's probably one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever done. I've just, the book's been around since I was in high school. I've read it at least twice. I've seen all kinds of different adaptation stuff. I mean, there's only so many times you can go through it before nothing's really new in it anymore. But the acting, the directing was good. And I think the cast really brought something new to it, and they did something different with it. And that was kind of nice. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's worth checking out. But looking at my list here, I think that's all I've got, unless you've got anything else.
No, I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Well, Lou didn't watch anything over the last week.
Which is why he's not here.
It's literally why he's not here. We're kind of like, do you want us to just whip through the show and you can hop back in for the news? He's like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll go take a break. So Lou needs to get back on the ball. But for everybody listening, you could be watching us if you go to youtube.com/randomchatter. And you can watch Lou as well on the other episodes of Random Chatter. And on Thursday night, we have started doing the, we started a Star Wars role-playing game, Lou, Carrie, and I. And we decided to stream the first episode. We're going to stream the second episode. And then if people want that to continue, we're going to set up our own playlist for it on the Random Chatter YouTube channel, and we may keep going with it, launch kind of a show for it. But we need you guys to let us know what you think and if you want to see that or not. So it's going to be probably about 8:30 p.m. Thursday night. That's Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. And Movie Chatter Tuesday night. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Ex Machina. So if you haven't seen it before, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you watch it.
Great movie.
Really good.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this episode of Random Chatter. Let us know what you think of the stuff that we covered on the show here today. And if you've seen anything else interesting that you think we should check out, we're game. We're always looking for new content, whether it be movies, video games, TV shows, books, music even. I mean, we don't really talk about it here on the show, but hey, I mean, if you got something good, let us know. All right?
Yep.
That's going to do it for this episode, and we will see you again next time. Until then, take care.